The yellow car. Nobody took much notice of the two black guys in the cab. A crowd had formed and two cops had arrived in a car. It was a country road that led at a right angle off the turnpike, and George and Mazy were there, helping themselves to a crate of beer like the best of them. Unlike the cops, they didn't have a car to load up, so had to content themselves with a single case. It was a hot, sultry day and a late afternoon in 1934. The beer crates were diminishing at a rate, but there was still half a pickup's worth of good quality beer still on board. None of you got rod, and none of you moonshine. The Volstadt Act was in its 14th year, though all it had produced was the devil's own thirst in America, the devil's own bill to pay for it, and scenes like this. The black guys lounged in their seats without a care in the world. They had grey beards and dungarees, and the passenger had blood on his forehead, where his head had cracked the windshield glass. The driver was kept in place by the steering wheel. Both were dead. The truck, a Dodge, lay at a wedged angle in a ditch. Why it had crashed, no one knew, but there was no shortage of speculation, and the consensus was fairly unanimous, that the two characters in the cab had been imbibing their product, and the sampling had got the better of them. The truck had swerved off the road and its occupants killed in the crash. No one knew who they were, and no one particularly cared. By the onset of evening, and the crowd had not yet dispersed. There were about 35 people gathered there, mostly white. The 5 or 6 blacks there made a good haul, and as there was plenty to go around, no one begrudged them an equal share of the loot. A torpid heat oppressed the air, and evening promised no relief. The cops were getting impatient, for now the back seats of their patrol car were loaded with arrested beer, and its trunk well stocked with crates. They thought it well to start asserting their authority, dispersing the crowd and attending to the dead men, from which the sweet smell of death now emanated. George and Mazy contemplated the long trek back Nashville way with their haul. It would be hot work on foot lugging a crate of booze. George looked back up the sloping road to the turnpike just as a bright yellow car sped along it. The car crossed the T of his vision. It was a Model A Ford. He didn't know where it was going. He never knew who owned it or what its significance to him, if any, might have been, but it burned in his memory. Something about that car burned in his mind, branded like a technicolor vision. Some profound experience had taken place, something spiritual that changed him in a way he could never put his finger on. He never forgot it. George picked up one end of the crate, the beer was getting warm, and Mazy the other, and together, with awkward corners, they lugged the beer back home.